When the popular male star appeared on the red carpet, he encountered an unidentified woman who aggressively interviewed the film industry tycoon with extreme methods. He immediately transformed into a righteous figure, pulling the woman into a dance, attempting to discreetly lead her away. Unexpectedly, the woman pushed him away, causing him to lose his balance and slide down the stairs, his pants ripping open on the spot. Lim Hyun-joon, who worked at a printing factory, was once a highly successful actor with a bright future 15 years ago. During filming, he fell in love with his co-star, and the two quickly became deeply involved. Soon after, their private date was caught by reporters. To protect her image and career, his girlfriend begged Lim Hyun-joon to plead with the reporters for leniency. When the reporters refused to compromise, she lied, claiming they had only briefly dated during filming and had already broken up by the time the drama ended, and that Lim Hyun-joon was the one obsessively pursuing her. Shocked that his girlfriend would betray her conscience and their relationship for her future, Lim Hyun-joon ultimately chose to let her go under her desperate pleas. He even took the blame, kneeling to beg the reporters to stop the exposé. After this incident, he completely withdrew from the entertainment industry and settled for a job at the printing factory. Unexpectedly, the factory received an order to print scripts for a female actor who turned out to be Lim Hyun-joon's ex-girlfriend. To make matters more coincidental, the task of delivering the script to his ex-girlfriend fell on him. After handing over the script with his cap pulled low, he turned to leave immediately. As he walked downstairs, relieved he hadn't been recognized, his ex-girlfriend suddenly appeared, demanding to know why he was there. She bluntly said he shouldn't have come, knowing she was there, and even mocked him for deliberately dressing shabbily to make her feel guilty. Lim Hyun-joon never expected his ex-girlfriend, who had navigated the entertainment industry, to become so callous and selfish. On his way home, he couldn't help but complain about her ruthlessness to himself when a drunk stranger suddenly appeared in the back seat. Startled, he questioned the woman's identity and why she was in his car. In a daze, she insisted she had been kidnapped and rambled incoherently while dialing the police. Both were taken to the police station. The police reviewed the dashcam footage, which clearly showed the woman voluntarily entering Lim Hyun-joon's car. Feeling guilty but unwilling to back down, she demanded the footage continue playing, insisting Lim Hyun-joon might have pretended not to notice her in the back seat. Lim Hyun-joon agreed to play the rest to clear his name, but he forgot the latter part of the video was filled with him scolding his ex-girlfriend. "Always with that long, straight hair, and equally terrible acting," he had said. The stranger, coincidentally also with long, straight black hair, took the unspoken insults personally. The police agreed with her assessment and mediated, ruling it a case of wrong car and venting through insults, effectively canceling out. As Lim Hyun-joon prepared to leave, the stranger suddenly banged her head against the wall, sobbing and calling herself an idiot for killing someone and almost framing an innocent man. The woman, Wi Jeong-sin, was a journalist investigating a case linked to a congressman. The congressman's assistant, who was supposed to meet her with a scoop, had died unexpectedly before their meeting, with a suicide note found at the scene, ruling out foul play. Wi Jeong-sin remained convinced the assistant was murdered by the congressman and vowed to uncover the truth. The congressman's secretary later arrived with a stack of money, urging her to drop the case, but she threw the money into an ice bucket, drank the contents, and smashed the bucket, vowing to continue. It was due to this excessive drinking that she mistakenly entered Lim Hyun-joon's car. Now that the misunderstanding was resolved, the emotionally drained Wi Jeong-sin, still under the influence, moved by her distress, Lim Hyun-joon bought her hangover medicine and encouraged her to stay strong. Grateful, Wi Jeong-sin handed him her business card, telling him to contact her if he ever needed help. Lim Hyun-joon didn't take this little incident to heart. After returning to the printing factory, he continued working diligently. Unexpectedly, a customer who came to complain about a script printing error would alter his fate. This customer was a soon-to-graduate college student, preparing to shoot their graduation film. Upon discovering a typo in the script, they immediately came to have it corrected. Dutifully, Lim Hyun-joon fixed the issue. The aspiring director recognized him as a former actor and thought he'd be perfect for the role of a detective in the script, enthusiastically inviting him to play the lead. Though Lim Hyun-joon, who hadn't acted in years, initially refused, the director persisted, pleading and cajoling him. A co-worker at the factory, who was also his former agent, advised him that this low-budget indie film was just a graduation project and wouldn't gain much attention, suggesting he treat it as a hobby. Still harboring a lingering love for acting, Lim Hyun-joon eventually agreed to take the role. He had thought he could just go through the motions, but the rookie director turned out to be extremely strict, making him retake scenes for the slightest imperfection. During filming, He wanted to quit multiple times, but the director always managed to pull him back into character. By the end, he couldn't tell if he was Lim Hyun-joon, the printing factory worker, or the detective in the story. He had assumed filming would end, and life would return to normal. But the film's release was unexpectedly successful. He became a sensation overnight playing the detective, leading to a second and third season. After years away from the entertainment industry, Lim Hyun-joon made a triumphant return. Fame brought endless endorsement deals and the luxurious life of a top star. But what frustrated him was that everyone only remembered him as the detective, even forgetting his real name. He craved a career shift, wanting to try other roles. But producers, directors, and his agent urged him to continue with the next season of the detective series. At first, he thought they were considering his future, planning to support his transition after building enough clout. But he later overheard the producer and director talking in the restroom, learning that the only roles he was being offered were mediocre supporting parts. At his age, no one was casting him in romantic comedies or love stories. Feeling frustrated, Lim Hyun-joon was suddenly interrupted by a woman in a dress who burst into his bathroom stall. The woman was Wi Jeong-sin, a political journalist he had encountered before. Known as a warrior for justice, she had fearlessly reported on explosive political stories for years. During a recent undercover operation, she was discovered and sought refuge in the men's restroom to escape pursuit. Without waiting for Lim Hyun-joon to react, she stepped on his head to climb out the window, even asking him to hand her his shoes. Before leaving, she quickly shared her phone number, hoping he would contact her for an apology. Back at the newspaper, Wi Jeong-sin demanded her boss publish the footage she had obtained, but the boss, fearing repercussions from powerful figures, ordered her to drop the story. She was also reassigned from the political to the entertainment desk. Outraged, Wi Jeong-sin refused to accept this and went to an awards ceremony to confront the chairman, demanding the decision be reversed. As she pushed through the crowd to get to him, she pulled open her jacket to reveal her recording device. At that moment, Lim Hyun-joon, who was walking the red carpet, mistook her actions for a threat, assuming she was reaching for a weapon. Trained from playing a detective, he quickly grabbed her and started dancing with her to inspect her hands. Only when he realized it was just a recorder did he freeze in place, only to be shoved away by Wi Jeong-sin. He lost his balance, slid down the stairs, and fell to the ground, his pants ripping open to reveal his underwear. The embarrassing scene of Lim Hyun-joon exposing his red underwear on the red carpet was captured by countless flashlights. The photos spread wildly online, and the red underwear incident quickly became a new topic of public amusement. Seeing the ridicule and mockery online, Lim Hyun-joon was filled with regret, wishing he hadn't worn such eye-catching red underwear that day. His already pent-up anger grew when his agent called a meeting with collaborators to discuss the next season's script. Unable to hold back any longer, Lim Hyun-joon pulled the agent aside and firmly stated that after 4 seasons, he no longer wanted to be typecast as the same character. The agent reluctantly handed him a romantic drama script, informing him that the director had only offered him a minor role, a dead ex-boyfriend who appears in 3 scenes before getting the box. Frustrated, Lim Hyun-joon blamed the detective role for limiting his career options and demanded the agent issue a statement, refusing any further involvement in the role. During a business trip, he had a nightmare where he was still playing the same character in old age, jolting awake in terror and startling the man sitting next to him. A passenger then approached, asking for an autograph for a daughter who was a big fan. Just as Lim Hyun-joon felt a surge of pride, the passenger quickly clarified that the daughter actually admired a retired baseball player, Lee Jae-hyung, who was also present. Lee Jae-hyung calmly took the autograph book and signed it, leaving Lim Hyun-joon mortified. After landing, Lim Hyun-joon was pushed aside by a crowd of fans, which the agent explained were fans of a current top male star. In the chaos, Lim Hyun-joon noticed a woman struggling in the crowd, seemingly calling for help. It was Wi Jeong-sin, who had just been transferred to the entertainment desk after the red underwear incident. Soon after, Wi Jeong-sin received her first assignment in the entertainment division, to meet and interview the top male star at the airport. To complete the task, she pushed through the crowded fan group, accidentally colliding with the star. Before she could react, jealous fans grabbed her and dragged her out of the crowd. Outnumbered, Wi Jeong-sin spotted Lim Hyun-joon on the outskirts and called for help, but he didn't recognize her, and quickly left with his agent to avoid the chaos. Wi Jeong-sin failed to interview the star, and her clothes were torn. Just as she was upset, she saw a fan being pushed down by the star's bodyguard. She rushed to help the fan up, scolded the bodyguard, and demanded an apology, saying such behavior embarrassed the artist. This scene was witnessed by Lee Jae-young, who had been on the same flight as Lim Hyun-joon earlier. Impressed by her courage, Lee Jae-hyung picked up her fallen bag and returned it, reminding her to check for missing items. As Wi Jeong-sin thanked him, a group of girls approached the same fans who had dragged her away earlier. Mistaking them for attackers, she grabbed Lee Jae-hyung and ran. Cornered on the second floor, she shielded Lee Jae-hyung, saying she'd take responsibility for the trouble. To her surprise, the lead fan thanked her, explaining the pushed fan was her friend, and praised Wi Jeong-sin for standing up to the bodyguard. Blushing at the unexpected praise, Wi Jeong-sin suddenly remembered her unfinished interview and rushed off. Lee Jae-hyung picked up her dropped ID card, but she was already gone. Unbeknownst to Wi Jeong-sin, Lee Jae-hyung was a retired baseball player returning to Korea to become the new president of her newspaper. Returning home, Wi Jeong-sin saw the viral video of her and Lim Hyun-joon on the red carpet and finally recognized him as the man who had refused to help her at the airport that day. Her brother, a fan of Lim Hyun-joon, excitedly introduced him as the actor who had become famous overnight for playing the detective, a benchmark in the industry with 0 negative reviews. However, Wi Jeong-sin was full of complaints, believing her transfer to the entertainment division was all Lim Hyun-joon's fault and secretly viewing him as a jinx. Due to the failed airport interview, Wi Jeong-sin was scolded by her editor-in-chief, as their newspaper was the only one that hadn't gotten a photo of the top male star, drawing ridicule from competitors. Knowing she was at fault, she listened obediently, but immediately volunteered to interview Lim Hyun-joon when the assignment was given, hoping to make up for her mistake. When Lim Hyun-joon saw that the interviewer was Wi Jeong-sin, he finally remembered who she was but still thought she was a hostess pretending to be a reporter. It wasn't until his agent called the newspaper to verify her credentials that he reluctantly sat down for the interview. However, Wi Jeong-sin had done no prior research and hadn't even watched the show. In reality, Lim Hyun-joon had only acted in one movie a long time ago and the detective series. After just a few questions, Lim Hyun-joon realized, as a journalist, Wi Jeong-sin hadn't bothered to look up his background and unilaterally ended the interview. Wi Jeong-sin was scolded by her editor again as a result. Furious with Lim Hyun-joon, she dragged her brother to dig into his past. They found that 3 years earlier, he had used many matching items with a female actress, leading Wi Jeong-sin to conclude they had been in a relationship. The next day, news resurfacing Lim Hyun-joon's past romance with the actress made headlines. Furious, Lim Hyun-joon accused Wi Jeong-sin of revenge. Unaware she had only collected materials, it was the editor who published the story in her name. In retaliation, Lim Hyun-joon publicly banned Wi Jeong-sin from his interviews and had her removed from an event. Wi Jeong-sin, enraged, wrote an article about his diva behavior, but was later bombarded by his fans' messages, though the editor praised her for generating buzz. That night, the editor took them to dinner to reconcile, but they argued and left in a huff. The editor scolded Wi Jeong-sin for being reckless and emotional, urging her to understand her target better. Meanwhile, Lim Hyun-joon fumed over Wi Jeong-sin's insults, then received a call from a director inviting him to a friendly match. On the court, he focused on winning, forgetting to impress the director until reminded he then deliberately fed the director the ball. Pleased, the director offered him a role in a romance drama, but it was a minor part, citing his damaged image from recent scandals. Lim Hyun-joon blamed Wi Jeong-sin again, not realizing she was watching his show. She had started skeptically, but was hooked by his acting, binge-watching all 4 seasons. The next day, still distracted, she was shocked to find Lim Hyun-joon waiting for her outside her office. As he approached, her heart raced, and he asked if he could spare a moment of her time. Lim Hyun-joon apologized for expelling her from the press conference. Hearing the apology, Wi Jeong-sin thought the two could reconcile. The very next moment, Lim Hyun-joon pulled out a contract. The agreement stated that without prior confirmation from her agency, Wi Jeong-sin was not allowed to publish any news about Lim Hyun-joon. If she published articles damaging the actor's reputation, she would have to pay the agreed-upon compensation. If she fulfilled the agreement for the next 5 years, she would be granted at least 2 exclusive interview opportunities per year. Without hesitation, Wi Jeong-sin unceremoniously kicked him out. The negotiation collapsed. Frustrated, Lim Hyun-joon asked his agent if there were any new scripts. Tentatively, the agent pulled out a script. Lim Hyun-joon looked at it and found that, once again, the role was that of a police officer. At his wit's end, he then asked how the theater negotiations were going. He was willing to try anything just to escape playing a cop. Unfortunately, the new role offered by the theater was also that of a police officer. Lim Hyun-joon sighed. The agent, unable to bear it any longer, produced yet another script. Lim Hyun-joon quickly skimmed it and saw that the character was not a police officer. After reading the script in detail, he told the agent he really liked the role of a doctor and ordered the agent to contact the other party immediately to accept the role. The agent decided to take him to meet the collaborators right away. As Lim Hyun-joon happily picked out clothes, his younger brother suddenly walked in and asked him to go on a blind date. It turned out that Lim Hyun-joon's younger brother and Wi Jeong-sin's younger brother were good friends. Both were worried about their older, single siblings and had agreed to set them up. Lim Hyun-joon didn't know that the person his brother was introducing was Wi Jeong-sin. Upon hearing that the other party was a journalist, he flatly refused his brother's suggestion. In high spirits, he followed his agent to a bar to discuss the collaboration. He didn't expect that waiting for him was his ex-girlfriend. The agent informed him that the ex-girlfriend was the female lead in the very script he wanted to take. His ex-girlfriend directly said she hoped he would voluntarily withdraw. Lim Hyun-joon recalled the past. After their relationship was exposed, there had been someone who wanted them to appear in the same work together, she as the lead, him as a supporting actor. Such a collaboration would barely be noticed by the audience. His ex-girlfriend firmly answered that she was very bothered and hoped he would decline the role, better yet, leave the entertainment industry entirely. The memories were still fresh in his mind, and Lim Hyun-joon didn't want to compromise again. He declared that he would take the role, but on one condition. His salary had to be double that of his ex-girlfriend's. Returning home in a gloomy mood, Lim Hyun-joon saw his mother was also there. His mother had once been an adult film actress. She hadn't acted in years but still harbored the dream of making a comeback in the entertainment industry. She had even believed a director's promise to give her a role and lent him her car. This time, she came to ask Lim Hyun-joon to buy her another car. Lim Hyun-joon warned his mother that she had fallen for the director's scam, but she remained obstinate. She even blamed him, saying that if she hadn't given birth to him and been forced to take on the responsibility of motherhood, she would have long shed her sexy image and soared in her career. Lim Hyun-joon recalled his childhood. Because of the roles his mother had played, his family had endured cold glares and leering stares. Over the years, he had never forgotten those agonizing times. Unable to sleep after drinking, he took out the sleeping pills from the cabinet. The next morning, the agent found Lim Hyun-joon lying on the floor, with scattered pills all around. The newspaper editor-in-chief got the news that Lim Hyun-joon had taken sleeping pills in despair. The editor wanted to send someone to dig up dirt on him. A subordinate informed him that Wi Jeong-sin was also in the same hospital, so they could take advantage of the opportunity. At that time, Wi Jeong-sin's younger brother was taking care of her after her recent appendectomy. The brother said a friend's older brother was a police officer and encouraged Wi Jeong-sin to go on a blind date. He even repeated the friend's words, assuring her that the man was very handsome, like the actor Lim Hyun-joon who played a police officer, and she felt a slight stirring of interest. Just then, the editor-in-chief came to visit. After inquiring about her condition, the editor said that Lim Hyun-joon had been admitted to this hospital after taking sleeping pills, but his company was publicly claiming he had simply collapsed from exhaustion. The editor didn't believe this story and demanded that Wi Jeong-sin find out the truth about Lim Hyun-joon's extreme thoughts. She was also to take photos of him during his hospital stay. The editor promised that if she could dig up 10 useful exclusive stories, he would allow her to return to the main office within 3 months and resume being a political reporter. The desire to return to being a political reporter deeply attracted Wi Jeong-sin. After a moment of thought, she agreed to dig up dirt on Lim Hyun-joon. Soon, Wi Jeong-sin arrived at the VIP ward where Lim Hyun-joon was staying. Seeing guards stationed at the door, she threw a wad of cash onto the corridor. While the guard bent down to pick it up, she slipped into the room. Just as she entered, she heard Lim Hyun-joon and his agent talking outside. In a panic, she hid in the bathroom. She then heard the agent say he needed to use the restroom. Gripping the door handle tightly, she dared not make a sound. The desperate agent eventually ran off to find another toilet. Relieved, Wi Jeong-sin let out a breath only to see Lim Hyun-joon's ex-girlfriend arrive. The ex-girlfriend, trying to persuade Lim Hyun-joon to quit the project, played the emotional card, falsely claiming she still had feelings for him. Feeling insulted, Lim Hyun-joon called his younger brother after she left and agreed to go on a blind date. After hanging up, Lim Hyun-joon stared out the window and thought. To his surprise, he heard a farting noise coming from the bathroom. He went to investigate and was shocked to find the door locked from the inside. He pulled hard, accidentally yanking out Wi Jeong-sin, who lost her balance and collided with his forehead. They both tumbled to the ground. Furious, Lim Hyun-joon scolded Wi Jeong-sin as a ruthless paparazzo. When she learned he had only taken a few extra sleeping pills and was hospitalized, she urged him to do an interview to clarify the situation and quell rumors of his suicide attempt. After persuasion from his agent, Lim Hyun-joon reluctantly agreed. The interview, however, lacked the explosive content the editor-in-chief wanted. That night, Wi Jeong-sin hesitated about whether to leak the news of Lim Hyun-joon meeting his ex. She went to the rooftop garden to clear her head, only to find the insomniac Lim Hyun-joon already there. The two chatted in their usual bickering manner. Soon, Lim Hyun-joon noticed Wi Jeong-sin had gone silent. When he turned, he saw that her wound had reopened, and she had fainted. In a panic, he carried her back to the ward, only to find the rooftop door locked. No one answered his shouts for help. To save her, he lifted a long chair, smashed the glass, and called for a doctor to rush Wi Jeong-sin into the emergency room. Thanks to timely treatment, Wi Jeong-sin soon recovered. Meanwhile, Lim Hyun-joon's heroic act of saving her spread far and wide, completely overshadowing his previous failed suicide scandal. After both were discharged from the hospital, the blind date arranged by their younger brothers finally arrived. Arriving early, Lim Hyun-joon nervously waited for his date. However, when the door opened, he was shocked to see that it was none other than his longtime rival, Wi Jeong-sin. At that moment, Lim Hyun-joon's brother, who had concealed his identity, told Wi Jeong-sin's brother that his older brother was not just similar to Lim Hyun-joon, but was Lim Hyun-joon himself. Wi Jeong-sin's brother turned pale, knowing full well that his sister had a grudge against Lim Hyun-joon. As expected, the two who couldn't stand each other became tense. They exchanged only a few words before parting ways unhappily, even competing childishly to be the first to leave. Unexpectedly, it was raining outside. Lim Hyun-joon, who had driven there, saw Wi Jeong-sin getting drenched in the rain. He wanted to offer her a ride but couldn't bring himself to do so. Ignoring her felt wrong, and he was torn. Caught in a whirlwind of emotions, he had no choice but to drive slowly behind Wi Jeong-sin. Fortunately, Wi Jeong-sin soon boarded a bus, and only then did Lim Hyun-joon finally feel relieved enough to leave. This meeting did not erase the other from their minds. Instead, they couldn't help but think of each other. Lim Hyun-joon looked up Wi Jeong-sin's background and learned that she had once been a political reporter who had been to the battlefield. As he looked at her photos from the war, he was reminded of the day of the blind date, the image of Wi Jeong-sin in a beautiful yellow dress, looking gentle and kind. He couldn't help but get lost in thought. The editor-in-chief asked Wi Jeong-sin if she had seen any women visiting Lim Hyun-joon during her hospital investigation. Wi Jeong-sin thought of Lim Hyun-joon's ex-girlfriend but lied and said no. At a meeting to select exclusive report topics, the team ultimately decided to cover the former sexy idol. A colleague presented a special feature on adult film actors from the 70 seconds and 80 seconds. When Wi Jeong-sin saw a photo of one actress, she blurted out that the woman looked just like Lim Hyun-joon's mother, whom she had met in the hospital. The editor-in-chief immediately seized the hot topic. He promptly ordered an investigative special on the artist's secrets. To verify Lim Hyun-joon's mother's identity, Wi Jeong-sin secretly watched an adult film she had starred in. Just then, the newly appointed president, Lee Jae-hyung, appeared and caught her in the act. Embarrassed, she quickly pulled Lee Jae-hyung outside and asked why he was there. Lee Jae-hyung returned her press pass and revealed he was the new president of the newspaper. After reviewing more information, Wi Jeong-sin was certain the adult film actress was indeed Lim Hyun-joon's mother. However, recalling how Lim Hyun-joon had risked his life to save her in the hospital, she couldn't bear to expose his family's private matters. The editor-in-chief, focused solely on the benefits of an exclusive story, knew Lim Hyun-joon had a ramen promotion event at 7 p.m. and a press conference at 8 p.m. He decided to have Wi Jeong-sin publish the explosive article at 7:50 p.m., just before the press conference, leaving Lim Hyun-joon no time to react. Wi Jeong-sin hesitated and asked if they should first confirm the information with the agency. The editor-in-chief claimed the verification was already done, who still felt uneasy about it. Lee Jae-hyung noticed she was troubled and asked if she was facing a difficult situation. Wi Jeong-sin confided that an article was about to be published, which would surely cause a huge uproar, and the person involved would be very hurt. Lee Jae-hyung shared his own experience. His mother was also a famous actress. Once, a malicious reporter constantly wrote cruel articles attacking his mother, and he hated that reporter very much. Later, when he had the chance to meet the person, he realized the reporter was actually a good person. It was only then that he understood his mother was doing her job as an actress, and the reporter was just doing his job as a journalist. By the same logic, Wi Jeong-sin was just fulfilling her professional duties and shouldn't be too hard on herself. Lee Jae-hyung's words made Wi Jeong-sin suddenly see things clearly. After parting ways, she still felt she should inform Lim Hyun-joon in advance, so she went to the ramen event to find him. However, she arrived too late. The event was already empty. Just moments before, during the Q&A session, Lim Hyun-joon had been sitting confidently in front of the reporters. Unexpectedly, a journalist asked him if he had seen the breaking news whether his mother had starred in adult films. The secret he had desperately tried to hide was exposed publicly, and Lim Hyun-joon felt suffocated, collapsing on the spot. When he regained consciousness and was about to leave, he spotted Wi Jeong-sin lingering around, looking for him. He angrily accused her of being cruel to hurt his family. Wi Jeong-sin explained that even if she didn't write the article, someone else would. The best way forward was to acknowledge it and face it head-on. Wi Jeong-sin tried to persuade him, saying that in this era, everyone supports single mothers and same-sex marriage, and people are far more open-minded than he imagined. Hearing that he was called old-fashioned, Lim Hyun-joon couldn't help but fire back. He accused Wi Jeong-sin of leading a double life, being a journalist by day and a hostess by night. Wi Jeong-sin was confused, not understanding what he was talking about. Lim Hyun-joon suspected she was pretending not to know and angrily brought up how she had once stepped on him to escape in the restroom. Wi Jeong-sin was shocked to learn that the person in the restroom had been Lim Hyun-joon. She admitted she owed him an apology, but was indignant that he had mistaken her for a hostess. She stormed off the car. Lim Hyun-joon felt wronged, complaining that he was the one who should be angry. Why was Wi Jeong-sin the one lashing out? When he got home, he collapsed onto the couch, exhausted. He thought about what Wi Jeong-sin had said. The fact that his mother had starred in adult films had always been a burden in his heart, but her words made him feel that perhaps he should face it bravely. In an attempt to change his luck, finally agreed to continue filming season 5 of the police drama. But then he received bad news. The director from season 1 would be directing season 5 as well. He remembered the grueling experience of filming season 1, when the director had nearly worked him to death, and he couldn't help but feel miserable. Meanwhile, Wi Jeong-sin replayed the entire situation in her mind and still felt guilty about leaking the news about Lim Hyun-joon's mother. She wanted to call him to apologize but couldn't bring herself to. Just as she was hesitating, she unexpectedly received a call. It was a key witness from a corruption and murder case she had investigated when she was a political reporter, a girl who worked at a nightclub. The girl had previously provided her with a video and now told her that there was another person not in the video. That person was none other than Lim Hyun-joon's ex-girlfriend. At the same time, Lim Hyun-joon was visited by his ex-girlfriend. She leaned in and whispered something in his ear, and his expression instantly turned one of stunned disbelief.